this one was just going to be video. But he's like, my husband, my techie, my IT department, as I like to call him sometimes, said, we need the high quality audio if this camera is trying to autofocus. I love learning about new equipment, but that's not why we're here. That's not why we're here.
We are here to talk about how to turn your followers into raving, loyal fans and customers. Now, I love the sound of the phrase raging, like excited fans, raving, not raging. Like raving fans, but like I don't refer to people in my audience as fans, and it feels weird to say it because I think it sounds a little bit pretentious. Like I don't think of you as a fan. I think of you as an equal to me. Like we're on this journey together, and I look at us as being one and the same. But when I say raving fan, I mean someone who is a loyal purchaser of your products and services, yes, but most importantly, they're an active member of your community and they believe in your mission and they believe why you're building the business you're building and doing things the way that you're doing it. So to me, I would consider raving fans in my community to be the people that support the Stop the Hey Girl movement and want to build a business without focusing on metrics that don't matter and icky Hey Girl cold messages. But there are some things that I think that really have contributed to my ability over the past 2 years of having this business, of being able to really cultivate that community. And I want to talk to you about those. The first one is I have a message that maybe goes against the norm, but people can get behind. So just to give you some backstory, when I started the Stop the Hey Girl movement, if you will, I was met with a lot of negativity at the beginning because when I first started this at the very tail end of 2018, I started to really move in this direction. People were not responsive because they thought the only way they could build a business and the only way that they have been taught was cold messaging. And even if cold messaging wasn't working for them, they were so scared to try something else. And once they started to follow through and they started to experience the wins and the connection and the ideal clients they were working with, they started to build a core belief in the mission. And that is one of the biggest tips I can give you is with your messaging, with your mission, why should they care? Simon Sinek, I might be butchering it, said this quote, and I'm going to paraphrase it. It's like, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so what I do is I'm a podcaster, a speaker, a course creator, a mentor. But why I do it is I love speaking about helping people build a business that they love, something that's sustainable and scalable. And so people really got behind that message. The second piece here about how to create a community of loyal customers or raving fans is talk to people like they're human and treat people like people. Talk to someone online like you would if you were getting to know someone out in real life. Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean that human interaction has to change just because the medium is different. So I love ways to connect with people, video messages, voice messages, sending them pictures, sending them videos. My other camera just died. That was rude. But having a way for other people to see that you are a human. I don't position myself to be above anybody else. I'm a normal person and I talk to you like you're a normal human being. And I know you're like, Kayla, that's so elementary, but I want you to honestly look at how you're interacting with people online in the DMs. Are you acting like a human? Or are you acting like this prim and proper robot behind a screen? Really analyze your previous conversations, which leads me to my third point about how to create loyal fans, customers, whatever. And that is act online like you do in real life. And what I mean by that is the Kayla you see here is the same Kayla you're going to see if you run into me at Target, the same person. I talk the same way. I use the same mannerisms. If I make a mistake in saying something or if I say something that sounds weird, I keep it in things. You notice my videos are one takers, right? My podcast, I rarely do editing, right? It's a one taker because this is who I am. And even if I mispronounce a word or it's not the most cohesive phrase or heck, I'm the queen of run-on sentences. What you see is what you get. And people connect when they see, feel, and know that you are a real human behind a screen. You are not just a brand. Even as a brand, even as a company, even as a personal brand, you have to show the human behind it. And I want to tell you a story real quick. I was on live doing my makeup just this morning, actually. And someone had said to me, and if she's listening, like, this isn't like a dig at you. I'm just so glad you asked this, because I think that this inspires a conversation that we need to have. And I was getting ready. I had like my towel and my robe on live. You couldn't see anything. I was very covered. Regardless, she said, do you think it's possible that people will not take you seriously, potential clients or even regular clients? Do you think that they will not take you seriously if they see you putting your makeup on Instagram Live in a robe? And I'm so glad that she asked that, because here's the thing. I do not want to work with someone who doesn't understand that I'm a real human and I show up as I am. And also, I am just as good, just as talented, and just as much of a leader in my robe as I am in a pantsuit. What I'm wearing doesn't change anything, but I want my audience to get to know who Kayla is, who the human is behind these companies. And I am the person that sleeps with her hair in space buns and loves to do her makeup on Instagram Live. I'm the same person who sometimes hangs out in sweatpants in a 2-day-old sweatshirt and no makeup. I'm just as good no matter what I'm wearing. And I love showing up, and I'm confident in myself with makeup and without. So I want to empower you there. What is professional, right? Like, this is 2021 here. You, no matter what you wear, whether you're getting on Instagram in a bikini, it doesn't matter. You're just as good, just as powerful, just as talented. And so that's something too, talking about these messages and opening up these conversations. Because if I tried to be prim and proper the whole time, I would not be anywhere near as successful as I am, because that would be putting on a performance, putting on a show. It wouldn't be showing up as I actually am. And you listening, you might think that you have to be perfect, that you have to show up only on your best days. But I gotta tell you, sister, that's not what people want to see. They want to hear when things aren't going as well. They don't just want to see your highlight reel, which is point number 4. Don't just show the highlight reel on social media, because your audience wants to see real. It's not all about curated content. It's what's actually happening. So people who, if you've been following me for a while, I see you. I know you're there. You've been with me through a lot of bad stuff, through me sitting in the hospital with Teresa, not having showered in 2 days. You've seen me cry on stories the day that I missed her first time going outside in 6 months. You saw me blabbering like a baby on Instagram stories. You saw me get fired up and angry about things. You've seen me at my best and my most excited moments, and you've seen me at some of my lowest. And I share all of those with honesty and transparency, because highlight reel and curated content isn't real. And I want to show the realities of building a business, no matter what chapter of it I'm in. So that's what I encourage you to do as well. Your audience is not seeking perfection from you. They want to see who you actually are, which ties everything together, right? Who you see right here, right now is the same person you're going to see when I turn this camera off. Arguably, maybe I'm a little bit more weird in person. But trust me, if you've been around enough, you've seen plenty of opportunities for me to be ridiculous. Let me tell you. But I want to open up a discussion about this. So go ahead, whether you're listening on the podcast or you're on YouTube, go ahead, leave a comment down below. Tell me your biggest takeaway from this episode. And here's the thing as well, guys. I'm sure you got the message, right? The strategy and the tactics, those are great. But at the end of the day, you've got to show up as who you actually are, because the reason why you're feeling burnt out is you're either trying to be something that you're not, or you're trying to be this version of you that isn't actually you. And trust me, when you take the pressure off and just show up and say, to hell with what everyone else thinks, you're going to feel so much more happy and so much more content and so much more excited to show up in your business. And to me, I think that's pretty exciting. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, if you are watching on YouTube, go ahead, hit that subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified every time that I upload. And if you're listening on the podcast, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Because let me tell you what, sister, 2021 is bringing fire.
If you think this year has been a year of growth, wait till you see what we're going to do together. I'll see you next week. Whoosh.